Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to do your June the 6th, just for today, in a meditation. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. Let's see what the meditation is about. Can you believe we're almost done with the first week of June? Time just waits for no one. Okay, the title of today's meditation, Recovery Doesn't Happen Overnight. The 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous are a progressive recovery process established in our daily living. That comes from the basic text, page 99. After some time in recovery, we may find we are faced with what seem like overwhelming personal problems, angry feelings, and despair. When we realize what's going on, we may wail, but I've been working so hard. I thought I was recovered, maybe? Not hardly. Over and over, we hear that recovery is an ongoing process and that we are never cured. Yet we sometimes believe that if we just work our steps enough, pray enough, or go to enough meetings, we'll eventually, maybe not be cured, but be something. And we are something. We're recovering from active addiction. No matter what we've dealt with through the process of the steps, there will always be more. What we didn't remember or didn't think was important in our first inventory will surely present itself later on. Again and again, we'll turn to the process of the steps to deal with what's bothering us. The more we use this process, the more we'll trust it, for we can see the results. We go from anger and resentment to forgiveness, from denial to honesty and acceptance, and from pain to serenity. Recovery doesn't happen overnight, and ours will never be complete. But each day brings new healing and the hope for more tomorrow. Just for today, I will do what I can for my recovery today and maintain hope in the ongoing process of recovery. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. It's so important to remember that recovery doesn't happen overnight. And what happens with the addict mind, right, is that we develop this all or nothing. And it's never all or nothing. A lot of the times, it is everything in between. And if we don't have some acceptance with that, we can find ourselves becoming very discouraged, very unsettled, very unhappy, to the extent that we can tell ourselves, if I don't do this perfectly, if I don't use no matter what, if I don't work the steps and am able to expound on them like some other people, I don't even know why I'm being bothered with this. Oops, I had a fall, but let me just lay here. No, the typical person, if they fall, they get back up. I mean, you can't accomplish much laying on the sidewalk. Literally, right? What can you accomplish? If you trip and fall today, I guarantee you, instinctively, you are going to get up, right? Instinctively. And if you're not able to get up on your own, you'll call for help. Even the president of the United States fell and needed help to get up. So I can only imagine that if that's the case, the typical individual, if they fall, will attempt to get up on their own. And if they're not able to, they will call for help, or someone will notice they need help and help them get up. There are some falls that require medical attention. There's some injuries that can take place when we fall, that even if you do get up, you're no longer stable on your 2 feet. There's going to be a surgery or some medical attention to reset a broken leg, ankle, toe, something. Collarbone. Have you ever met someone that has broken their collarbone? Oh my goodness, that is a lot of pain. So, what's the point? Even if we fall, there's a solution to the fall. Even if we have a lapse mentally, emotionally, spiritually, there's a solution to that. Get back to the basics immediately. And even if we have a relapse, which is what happens after the lapse, right? Because no relapse just happens. There has to be a lapse in one's spiritual condition. Something has to take place mentally before a person decides to pick up a drug after having been abstinent for a period of time, in recovery for a period of time. So even if it leads to a relapse, there is a whole system available to us to help us get up. It's the same thing. You wouldn't lay in the sidewalk after a trip. After a fall is a better word. Trip makes me think of mushrooms. All right, psychedelics. So maybe in some sort of, symbolic way, I'm saying if you do trip, if you do fall, you do relapse, call for help. It's going to require effort to make a comeback, to get back up. But it's possible that it's so deep that you're not able to do it by yourself. You're not able. Maybe you need to call for some help and say, you know what, I need help getting to a meeting. I need to resurrender. It takes time to live this new way of life on a day-to-day basis. And we learn from our mistakes. So if I'm not cured, am I recovered? That's a whole topic for debate in the rooms of recovery. Can we say that we're recovered? Some people will say, oh no, don't ever say you're cured. We're never cured. It can always come back. It's always there. As long as you have a brain that thinks, your disease of addiction is very much mental. So as long as you have the ability to think, you will always have the potential to suffer from the disease of addiction. It can always pick up at any point in time. So in that sense, yeah, I don't believe we could say that we're recovered per se. But being in the process of recovery is not to be downsized or minimized or disrespected. I'm in the process of recovery. I haven't picked up a drug in almost 30 years recreationally, right? I have some medications I must take for my blood pressure and so forth, but I haven't used recreationally in almost 30 years. So to me, when we say we do recover, I have definitely recovered in that area. But some of the other stuff is a process. Doesn't happen overnight, overcoming childhood trauma and overcoming resentments, fears, those character defects that cause shortcomings. Yeah, that is a process. So let's make sure that we give ourselves some space, not excuses, some space to recover in an atmosphere of gratitude. And let's make sure we extend that to other people. Because I can attempt to hold your feet to the fire and not think that I need to do the same thing. But remember, when you're pointing your finger at someone, you have 3 fingers at least. Unless you're double jointed with your thumb, you have at least 3 fingers pointing towards yourself. And so, in that sense, let's give others space for some air. Everyone doesn't show up to the meeting happy go lucky and ready to just engage. There are some people that do a lot of service work, and when they get to a meeting that's for them, that they're not actually serving at, they have so much going on that they're just happy to sit in a meeting. They may not even share. They're just happy to be present. And then some of us will come along and say, "Oh, did you see that attitude he or she had at the meeting? They didn't even want to hug anybody." Okay. You don't have to hug anyone. There's some people that, based on their childhood trauma, do not want you within 3 feet of them. And they generally will let you know, I don't do hugs. Seriously. I really don't like being touched by anyone. Respect them. You can still sit with them and talk to them without having to put your hands around them for a hug. It's not absolute. No one has to hug you. So maybe they're not in the mood. Let's give them space, just like we need space. And realize this is a process. Every day is not a perfect day, but every day is a gift. I heard someone say, let's not count the days. Let's make the days count. I do both. I count the days and I make the day count. So let's do that in a spirit of gratitude. Enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.